What is up, guys? It is the Bluebloods here coming at y'all with another episode, another week one preview. And we are headed to Charlotte, North Carolina, in which Appalachian State and East Carolina are facing off in the Dukes Mayo Classic, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, ESPNU and App State. Right now, as we're recording, is a 10.5 point favorite over the Pirates. And man, what a lot of people probably, most YouTube channels you watch probably aren't covering this game, but man, we had a lot of Appalachian State fans who listened to the show reach out to me and made sure we were covering this game. So shout out to all of y'all who are supporting. And I'm very interested in this game. I think it's a huge matchup between the Sun Belt and the AAC when you get Appalachian State and East Carolina. And we have the Mountaineers who I think returned one of the best front sevens in terms of O-line and D, or just the best front lines, my bad, front sevens. We'll get to that in a second, but best offense and defensive line in the group of five. And they have just a solid overall defense that I think probably could surprise a lot of people throughout the year. And on the other side, we have East Carolina, who is looking for their first winning season since 2014. And in my opinion, returns one of the best wide receiving cores in secondary in the AAC. So we have a lot of different things kind of coming to fruition here. And for me, so I want to look at the keys for App State to win first. And for me, it all starts with Chase Brice, the new starting quarterback taking over for Zach Thomas. Can he shake his past demons? Can he shake his past struggles that have kind of it's limited his potential from the guy who we saw coming into Clemson as a highly touted recruit? When you look at his season at Duke, 2-9 for the Blue Devils, and he only completed 54% of his passes and threw more interceptions with 15 than he did touchdowns, in which he threw 10. And according to Pro Football Focus, they had him ranked as the second worst quarterback last season in the entire country. That cannot happen. And, when you look at what Zach Thomas did, for me, he managed the game perfectly. He did make mistakes, and he could make plays in different ways. He always seemed to make the correct decision, and that is really where Appalachian State made its mark. For me, Brice has to take his game to the next level if the Mountaineers really expect to compete for a Sun Belt title. The Sun Belt has really increased their talent in recent years, and that's not going to be a conference you could just walk through with mediocre quarterback play or mediocre play anywhere. So Chase Brice is the key for me in this game and in future games, because if he comes out and plays like he did at Duke, Appalachian State doesn't stand a chance against formidable teams. Luckily, though, I'll say this: luckily, the Mountaineers will have a better surrounding cast, in my opinion, than he had at Duke. When you look at the O-line, multiple all Sun Belt selections on that line, headlined by Bear Hunter at center, they paved the way for a top 10 rushing offense last year. So hopefully the running game can keep Chase Brice out of the spotlight and allow him to lean on that rushing attack. When you bring back a guy like Cameron Peoples, who I love, he's one of my breakout players of the year. You look at the last time we saw him on the field, or one of the last times, he set multiple bowl records with a 317-yard and 5-touchdown performance in their bowl game. Was a first-team All-SBC, and they have a bunch of running backs behind them that have a lot of promise. But Cameron Peoples is going to be a huge key for me in this game about taking the pressure off of Chase Brice. And if this offensive line can keep him clean, then I think Appalachian State is going to have a great chance to do something special on the offensive side of the ball. And the defense is where I get hyped. Oh, they got 10 starters coming back. Shamar John Charles is off to the NFL. He went to the Packers. I'm excited to see what he does. He was one of the best DBs in the I would say in the country last year. He was when we did players of the year for conferences, he was my pick for the group of 5 overall at corner. But the D line for Appalachian State is really what catches my eye. We had Demetrius Taylor on the show. I'll link his interview in the top right. You can click on it and go check that out. He's going to be someone to fear off the edge, and he's looking to add to an already impressive resume in which he has almost 20 sacks and over 35 and a half tackles for loss. And on top of that, he has some extra motivation. So I don't know if you guys follow the Twitter drama going into this game, but ECU offensive lineman Sean Bailey tweeted or was in an interview and said that, the D-line was talented for App State, but he's going to come out there and hit him in the mouth. And Taylor added Bailey on Twitter and said, cool, and just kind of let him know he saw it. And so I think there's going to be a statement made for Demetrius Taylor in this game. And then when you go to the second level of the defense, Brendan Harrington and DeMarco Jackson are both back at linebacker, and it completes an outstanding front 7 for Appalachian State, which is kind of what I slipped up and said earlier. I love their front 7. The O-line, D-line, and linebackers are where Appalachian State, for me, are going to make their living. The running game with Cameron Peoples is going to be great. The keys to the game is establish the running game, make sure Chase Brice can get into his rhythm, and get to the passer. That's it. Right there, that's your keys to win for App State. And for ECU, they have one of the best secondaries in the group of 5, and they have one of the, most loaded wide receiving corps. They got playmakers all throughout this wide receiving corps. You look at someone like Tyler Snead, trying to build upon 1,500 yards, 14 touchdowns over his first few seasons. He's going to have to continue to be that dynamic slot option in the offense and find some ways to make some plays on the back end of this App State defense, in which the secondary outside of Sean Jolly is mostly, to me, not as up to par as Sean Jolly and Shamar Charles was. I think there's some opportunities to make some plays in the back end, and it's really up to Snead to go out there and make that happen. And then you also got CJ Johnson, who is the deep threat, who I think Sean Jolly and CJ Johnson is going to be one of the matchups to watch, to kind of jump ahead to a segment coming up in our matchups to watch. CJ Johnson, Sean Jolly is going to be one to watch very closely. Johnson averaged over 21 yards per catch last year, 6 touchdowns. And for me, Holton Allers for ECU is going to have to try to take his game to the next level as well. He was super, super efficient on deep balls last year, but he has to be more consistent on mid-range throws. And if he can do that, this offense could be very, very scary this year. And when you look at the secondary, Jaquan McMillan and Malik Fleming are going to be able to lead the secondary. And the key for ECU, in my opinion, is can this secondary force Brice into mistake after mistake? Because if Chase Brice falls into that pattern he went in Duke, where he was making mistakes to take Duke out of the game, giving the opponent extra possessions, ECU is going to be in this game, and I don't think App State is going to be able to hang on. But for me, it's really going to come down to, can the secondary do that, and can ECU stop the run enough to force them to put Chase Brice into a position to have to make plays with his arm in this game? That's really what it's going to come down to for ECU, is can you stop the run and force Chase Brice to throw the ball? So the 2 matchups to watch, before we get into official predictions, are the offensive line for ECU and App State's D-line. If they can't protect the quarterback for ECU, this team's gonna struggle. I'm not confident in their run game. I'm not sure how well they're going to run the ball this weekend. The passing offense of ECU is really what's going to keep them in the game. So if you get pressure on the quarterback, if you're App State, you really slow down what this offense does the best. And on the flip side, if ECU can stop the run and make Chase Brice have to win the game himself, put it in the hands of the biggest question mark on this App State team. Because when you look at this team on paper, the biggest question mark for me is the quarterback spot. So if you could put it in his hands, you could really be in business if you're ECU about making this a competitive game in Charlotte. And for me, looking at the totality of everything that's going on, I'm going to lean with Appalachian State. I think early we could see a very close game as Chase Brice kind of tries to get into his rhythm, as two teams try to shake off the all-season rust. We always see it in week one that there's usually a little bit of rust that comes with this, but I'm going with App State 38-23. I think it's close early. I just think Cameron Peoples and that Appalachian State offensive line just wear down that ECU defense, and they kind of pull away late. I think the D line for App State is going to be good enough to make just enough plays on the defensive side of the ball to really force some turnovers, really put this ECU offense behind the sticks, and really make it hard for them to sustain drives at times. So look for Demetrius Taylor off the edge. Look at Sean Jolly versus CJ Johnson as a matchup to watch. But for me, App State is just a better overall team right now. And I think their athletes are going to outperform what ECU is going to put on the field this weekend. So comment below what you think about this game. What are your official predictions, and who do you have winning this Mayo Classic against Charlotte? I'm so pumped for this game. Make sure to tune in. It's going to be one you don't want to miss. And if you're new, make sure to subscribe, guys, and please join the Blue Bloods. We appreciate any and all support, and we'd love to have you for the season. So make sure to subscribe, turn on your post notifications right now before you click off the video. And also, guys, I'm so pumped for week one, so make sure to check out all our previews. We have them all throughout today, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. We have them all the way leading up to game day, and we have recaps starting to drop on Saturday night, Sunday, and Monday as well. So make sure to check all that out. But guys, for the Blue Bloods, we are out right now.